Hey everyone, Tori here. I'm going to be trying something new here today. I'm going to be trying to do a book review for the book Inexperienced Mage by, let me get my finger out of the way, by D.W. Jackson. This is of the Reawakening Saga. This is book number 1 out of 5. So with this book, or with this series here, I've read the first 3 books, and I'm going to be giving my opinion, just a quick rundown of the story. And, yeah, so I'm going to start that. But just before I do, I want to just advise, if you guys don't like spoilers, if you haven't read the book yet and you're just looking for an opinion, I'd say skip to the end. I'll have my opinion in there without any spoilers. But basically, like I was saying, this book is written by D.W. Jackson, and the reason I'm doing this video today is because he's currently holding a contest. The contest is for winning a trip to Japan, which is something I obviously am interested in, since I actually plan on moving to Japan hopefully by 2016, and I've been learning the language for the last little while. And yeah, so I heard about this. I'll put a link to the author's blog where he has the contest information. The contest ends tomorrow, and the reason I'm doing this solely is because the fact that Amazon lost my order and didn't actually get the books to me until just a little while ago. So, like I said, I'll put the blog information for Mr. Jackson's blog, and I'm also going to put the information for Rachel and June's channel. That's where I originally heard about the contest, which I love their channel, and I give them props for advising me as such. So, without further delay, like I said, this is for the Inexperienced Mage. So, basically, the story takes place in a matriarchy society where men are sold into slavery. There's no magic, or there hasn't been magic for over 1,000 years. The main character is he is in a training academy for slaves. He was sold to the slave academy by his mother, and he is supposedly the best slave there. He eventually catches the attention of the queen, who buys him to give to the princess. When he's purchased, he eventually gets purchased by the queen and gets shipped to the queendom. And I say queendom because, like I said, it's a matriarchy society where it's female-dominated, female-run. So he's being shipped there, but he is attacked, or his carriage prison thing is attacked, and because of that he escapes. He eventually finds his way into a forest where he finds some abandoned village, basically, and the village holds magical knowledge, magical books. And so he finds these books, and he teaches himself magic, since there's been nobody around to teach magic for over 1,000 years. And so because of the fact that there's been nobody around, he has to learn everything by himself. He starts off with the basics. He starts off with shield rings, lights, things like that. Works his way up later on in the book to more advanced things, which I find the use of the magical knowledge, what the character learns to do, extremely interesting. So after he finds the magical knowledge, he eventually works his way back to the queendom, which, in all honesty, if you were just sold to the queen and escaped the queen after being sold at a really high price as a slave, you probably wouldn't want to go back to the queendom. He's 14, so we'll toss it up to inexperience on intelligence, one of the two. So he works his way back to the queendom. Eventually, along the way, he finds people that he loves, people he cares about. He finds people who take care of him when he's in need. He actually finds the princess later on in the story, and they become friends, and so he cares about her. He also later on finds a daughter-sister type thing. Basically, a mother was selling the daughter into slavery, but because of the fact that he found her, he bought her not to be a slave, but as so that she can be free. Which I think the family relationship in that part of the story is very good. So also, while he's in the capital, he learns about these rebels who are slaves who are going to fight the queen, which makes sense. If they're slaves and they don't want to be slaves, then why not take out the person who's making them slaves? So he obviously has a internal battle where he has to decide whether he wants to join the forces, which obviously, if he's a mage, that would be really helpful. Or the fact that he he has to protect the people he loves, which he chooses the people he loves. So he goes to the camp. He eventually fights them. So he fights them. Obviously, he wins since there's 4 more books after this. It causes another love interest later on in the story, which we learn about. So just a quick pointer on the battle. The battle that he gets into with the rebels, I think it is extremely well done. I think the battle scenes, the battle ideas, what he does is very, very well done, very well detailed. And the scenes following it, where there's some, where he's basically pushing himself over the limit, pushing himself to the point where he thinks it'll kill him. And then comedy afterwards. I think it's a very interesting combination. I found the comedy funny. I found the battle intense. I found where I was sitting there just reading it's like, what's going to happen next? So I was extremely excited for that. So again, I think the story is extremely well done. I think the characters are all of the main characters that they talk about. I think they're extremely well detailed. I think they are. I think the characters are extremely well detailed. I think the ideas behind the magic, like I was saying earlier, the uses of magic is very well done. I think they're very unique as to what's done later on with some of the magical ideas. Like, for example, just an orb. He makes an orb, like a glass orb, and he overfills it with magical energy, and that becomes an explosive. And a time when basically it's bows and arrows, there's not really guns or anything, that's just having an explosive would be extremely useful. So I found that interesting. I found the way that he uses for communication very interesting. So I think the story is really great overall. The first book, one more time, just going to show it again. Inexperienced Mage. I think that I found the first book extremely well done. I really enjoyed it. I actually do plan on reading it again later on once I finish a couple more books that I'm currently reading. I find this one, I highly recommend it. For the first book, I say 5 out of 5 stars. Very well done. There are some problems with spelling and grammar, but it's nothing that takes away from the story, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But besides that, it's a very well done book, and I do look forward to reading more of the book, or more of the series. Like I said, I've already read the first 3, so I got 2, I think there may be 3 more, but I could be wrong. But so 2 or 3 more books, and I can't wait. So thank you much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you like it, and I'll do more. Have a good night.